And now finally we can move into the data layer. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a model. So the first thing we want the data layer. Inside of the data layer we have the models. Inside of the model we have the user model.dart. Boom. So you can make this part easier, but I'm gonna write out the code by hand first, and then I will show you how to generate this code easily. You might already know how to do that if you're already a Flutter guru. So I know that some of you are. Let's go ahead and do that. Class user model extends. It extends the user entity, right? So it extends the user entity. All right, and then now we have to say constant user model, create a constructor for it. Now because it's extending the user, we don't have to collect the information as properties, final, username, final, because the parent class is already collecting them. We simply have to collect them in our constructor and pass them to the superclass. Right, superclass.avatar required super.id required super created at required super.name. Alright, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and start creating or extending the functionality. Remember, the entity is the blueprint and the model is the extension of the blueprint. We're building upon that blueprint, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing we want to do is to add serialization from JSON and to JSON. In this case, from map and to map. From map and to map. I prefer to call them that because JSON means JSON, right? If you know what JSON is, it's usually in the form of a string. It's different from a Dart map, right? So in our case, we're gonna have user model dot from map, right? And this would take a map string dynamic. This is too long because we're going to be using this over and over, so I'm going to create a type definition for this right here. Utilities type def. I'm going to put this here. Type def. I'm going to call this a data map, right, is equal to that. So whenever we say data map, we mean map string dynamic. That's good laziness, really. good laziness. So we have a data map and we can call that a map. I mean, in here we can say this and it will return this. It will return a user model, right? We can add constant over here. And in here it wants the avatar. The avatar where I'm going to simply give the map at avatar as a string. For the what else have we got? For ID, we're gonna give map at ID as a integer. For the created at, we're gonna take map at created at. Let me put that in there as a string. And finally, for the name, it's going to be map at the name as a string. What have we done here? What is wrong? Oh, invalid constant value. I'm so sorry about that. So what are we doing here? So we've gone to a server and we know that the server, this is what the server returns. So whenever we make that call, right? Whenever we go over here and we say get me a user, get me users, right? Where is it? Get users, whatever. Whenever we come here and we say get users, it will return us a list of these users, right? If you want to test this, let me show you how to test, right? You can go ahead and copy this endpoint, right? So copy this and paste it in your browser. We can paste that and we can go to endpoint users, right? Users, and we hit enter and we can see an empty list. So let's go ahead and let's create a fake user. 2 users, no, I want only 1 user, please. No, only 1 user. Alright, mate, let's create 1 user. Can you not just do 1 user for me? No, it doesn't. Alright, I'm just going to do 2 then. So data generated, when we refresh this, we can see 2 users, and this is the form that the users come in. I think we can also see this when we click on data. Yeah, we can see, but this is a mess. I don't like looking at this. If you want this endpoint to, or if you want this whenever you visit an API and it has to display JSON for you, normally it would display them in ugly format. If you want it to be formatted this way on your browser whenever you visit this, you use an extension. I have an extension, I've forgotten what it's called. I will find that extension later, or you can just search for JSON extensions or something. So you can just Google Chrome JSON extensions and you can see JSON view. I think I'm using this one, and you can install it into your Chrome. And whenever you visit any endpoint that will return a JSON, it will format it this way and it looks pretty. Let me go ahead and change that to dark mode. Dark. Yeah, a lot of ambiance. The ambiance. No, I prefer this one. So let me save that. Alright. Let me go ahead and reload that. You could see. Right, so yes, this is what I like to see. So this is what we have. So when this happens, we will be getting a user data. We'll be getting user data in lists when we're getting the users. Now each user data contains creator that, name, avatar, and ID. Oh, and the ID is also a string. So let's go ahead and change this to be a string. So over here, a string. So you can see. So we have to structure this as it is in the from the server. So in the server, this will also be a string, right? So over here, we also have a string, right? So everything's fixed now. So now we're saying when we get that data from the server, we actually want to take that data and pass it to our usermodel.from map, right? And we from that map we can extract the avatar ID created at a name, right? So when that's done, how about if it was received as a JSON, as an actual JSON, right? As an actual, because this will come in the form of a JSON, and JSONs usually come in the forms of a string. They usually come in forms of strings, right? So, let's go ahead and create one for that. So user model dot from JSON, right? So what would this do? This will take a string source, so the source of the JSON, and it will do what is it going to do? It's going to return the user model dot from map, right? And what is it going to give it as a map? It's going to do JSON decode, right? JSON decode, and it gives it the source, and it will return it as a data map. Isn't that brilliant? Let's go ahead and save that much. And what is your problem? Dark convert. And what is your problem again? Constructors cut. Oh, sorry. This has to be a factory constructor. Right, so finally, let's go ahead and create the rest of them. Oh, I'm getting tired. So use them. No, this time we actually want to create the 2. So when we're sending data to the server, how do we want to do that? We want to do 2. So data map to JSON, to map rather, and this will return a map version of what we have. So the ID will simply be the ID that we've got. The avatar will simply be the avatar that we've got, and the created app will simply be the created app that we've got, and the name will finally be the name that we've got. Right, so that's it for the date for the 2 map. What about a 2 JSON? Data map, sorry, string to JSON will simply do what it will take the 2 maps. So we're gonna do a JSON encode to map. So we're going to call the to map and then code it into a JSON format. Right, so this is it. But now remember that our class is extended equatable, right? And each of its fields are final, meaning that we can't change them. So what if we had a user and we wanted to update the user's data? So in this case, the user's name, right? What are we going to do to the current user? We can't say user.name is equal to user.name. Maybe we can create void final user is equal to user.empty, and we want to change their name. We can't say user.name is equal to Bing or Google, right? We can't do that. Why? Because here you go, name can't be used as a setter because it's final. So in order to fix this, we have to add a copy with method in our user model.